Hello, and welcome back to the Upgrade Your Education Business podcast. I'm Sumantha McMahon, and today I want to talk about something that so many tutors rely on but rarely have a strategy for: word of mouth marketing. When I'm helping tutors create a sales and marketing strategy, I always start by asking where their current clients come from. Many do say word of mouth, but when I ask, so what's your system for keeping that going? They usually don't have an answer. And actually, it's the whole reason that they are coming to me for this strategy, because they love that clients come through word of mouth, but it doesn't feel very safe to rely on because it's not really in their control. So, in this episode, we're going to turn word of mouth from a happy accident into something that's more intentional and consistent. Let's get started. Welcome to the Upgrade Your Education Business podcast. I'm your host, Sumantha, and I'm so pleased you're here. As an education business owner myself and a former teacher, I understand the nuances that only apply to us. So in this podcast, I share fluff-free, tailored and actionable ideas that you can mould to suit your needs. If you'd like to take this conversation further, please do reach out. I would love to meet you. And finally, it would mean the world to me if you could leave a review. That way, you'll be helping me help more people. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy. All right, let's start with why word of mouth is absolute gold for small business owners like us. First of all, it's trust, really. If a parent hears about you from another parent, the trust is already baked in. You're not having to prove yourself from scratch. Secondly, it's so much easier to sell what you offer when somebody else has already done the talking for you. You're not starting from zero, and instead you're coming in with some credibility. But I'll be honest, it's not effortless. I remember someone inside the Tutors Mastermind, an amazing tutor who was doing incredibly well. Over 80% of her students came from referrals. But then a few families left the school, which is where her network of referrals often come from. And just like that, a big chunk of her client base and people who would usually recommend her basically disappeared. And it was at that point that she realized that she didn't really have any kind of referral strategy. It was just happening on its own until it wasn't. So let's talk about how to encourage referrals naturally without it feeling weird or salesy. The absolute foundation is creating a great experience. People don't refer businesses, they refer experiences. So if you're providing genuine value, making life easier for students, for parents, helping students make progress, really making an impact, you're halfway there. And let's not forget the experience that parents get when they work with us. We want that experience to be seamless, easy, and aligned with what we know they need, all the way from onboarding to invoicing and everything in between. Now, often you can use these touch points with parents to boost the chances of word of mouth recommendations. One member of the Tutors Mastermind has a brilliant system, and I asked her permission. She doesn't mind me sharing this with you. After the first term, she always sends a check-in email to parents, not just to get their feedback, which is great for testimonials, but also to say something like, if you know any families who'd benefit from this kind of support, please do pass on my details. It's really natural, it's warm, there's no pressure, and importantly, it works. You see, people are busy. They're not thinking about our businesses as they go about their daily lives. So we need to remind them, and we need to keep that going. We need to make sure we're reminding them of that action we want them to take. Just in the same way we stay on people's radars when we're marketing, we want to stay on their radars and we want to remind them. Now, you can also weave it into your usual communication. Maybe you've got limited availability. You could mention that. You could say something like, I've got a couple of spaces opening up soon. I love working with families like yours. So if you know anyone who's looking, please let me know. Now, another little touch. You could add a short line in the footer of your emails, just something that's automatic. And it could say something like, referrals are always appreciated. Things like that are really gentle. And over time, it plants that seed because people keep seeing it. Now let's chat about actually asking for referrals. And you can do this without feeling uncomfortable. In my opinion and in my experience, it comes down to timing and tone. Here's a line that you can use or adapt. You could say, if you know any families who are looking for the kind of support I offer, please do pass my name on. It's really simple, it's respectful, it's not begging, and it's being visible. And don't ask when things are feeling a bit awkward or uncertain. I mentioned that timing is important. Ask when the parent is clearly happy. Maybe their child just moved up a grade or they're raving about how confident their child feels right now. That is the moment. Now, here's where the magic happens. Creating a system that runs in the background. If you're teaching a lot of students or you're just generally really busy, you may not want to manually chase referrals all the time. So you could set up a few things to do the heavy lifting for you. One idea could be to set up an automated or scheduled follow-up email or a few emails. So let's say after the first 6 sessions, you send a message that checks in with how things are going and gently includes a line about referrals. You could even create a mini referral program, something like refer a friend and get a free session or get 10% off next month or whatever you prefer. It doesn't have to be big. It's usually the gesture that really counts and it reminds people. In fact, many masterminders listen to this podcast, so I have popped the link to the training that's all about ideas to attract more inquiries. And in there, we have got encouraging word of mouth referrals. So just check the show notes for the direct link. You'll just log in and access it. Now, another trick is to post success stories or testimonials on social media. The reason why this is powerful perhaps isn't what you think. Of course, it's a great way of establishing trust with new people, but parents are proud of their children. And if you tell them that, look, I've shared this amazing piece of work or this amazing message that your child sent me or whatever it might be, chances are they'll share it. And that means you get in front of more people through them. Now, I'm talking about automation here and things to just do some of the heavy lifting. And I recently helped one of my clients use her CRM to trigger an automatic message after every 6th session, just checking in, softly prompting for a referral. And do you know what? That one tweak brought 3 new clients in one term, in the first term she tried it. So, to wrap up, word of mouth really is an amazing tool, but it doesn't need to be left to chance. And I would argue that it shouldn't be left to chance. It needs to be something that you have some influence over. So with a little structure and the right mindset, you can really turn this into something consistent, something that feels good, and it can just be part of your routine. You don't have to be salesy. You don't have to feel uncomfortable. So if this sounds like the kind of support you need in your business and you want to create systems that work in the background, if you want to hear from fellow tutors about what they're doing, then come and join us in the mastermind. We cover everything from email marketing to referral strategies and making social media fun and actually doable, all sorts. And of course, we have the amazing community, which is the heartbeat of the Tutors Mastermind. If you want to check it out, go to tutorsmastermind.com. So as always, thank you for tuning in and staying with me till the very end. And if this episode resonated with you, please do share it with a tutor who relies on referrals or who wants that boost. And of course, you'll hear from me on Wednesday. Would you like to take this discussion further? Perhaps you have some questions or you'd like more ideas on tailoring your business. If so, book a free discovery call through the link in the show notes.